It's working. The glare is... Yes. I'm unveiling my new hairstyle for the first time after a wash. My last vlog where I hacked off my hair with a pair of scissors to donate received a number of questions. I think I'll try to delve into them if I have time today or scattered in pieces in upcoming vlogs. These WTF Wednesday vlogs will slowly morph into live travel vlogs again as I re-enter my adventure travel phase with a number of spectacular destinations. As I've mentioned before, the highlights among others will be Egypt, Israel, and Jordan. In 2019, I will have explored my 100th UN country, which is at this point supposed to be Israel. We'll see if that changes at all, but I fully anticipate that Israel is it. That also means that my PADI Open Water has been suspended for the time being, mostly due to circumstance. I would have liked to have tested for my open water before leaving for this trip, but unfortunately the scheduling has been a bitch. I might still yet have an opportunity to dive if someone cancels this weekend, but I'm wondering if I have the mindset to dive on a snap like that. That means tonight I will be reviewing the PADI video materials. I mostly want to go with what I call steady state knowledge instead of studying in depth. I want to know how much I know if I've left the materials for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, because I anticipate that scuba diving is something I'll only be doing every couple months or so maybe a couple times a year. In any case, I think this suffices for an update for now. Every time I vlog, the wind picks up, telling me to shut the fuck up. What was I going to comment on about my hair? Some people were interested in the story behind my haircut. I think if most people reflect on their own lives, they'll realize that often major aesthetic changes align with major life changes. For me, this was definitely the case. I decided to grow my hair out long because that was the one step that felt natural and of me to improve my attractiveness in a way that was still acceptable. At the time, I thought that it would be the least time intensive because makeup and dress are exceedingly annoying on the road. That being said, long hair can also be a pain to clean, but for some reason, because I had a different mindset about it, felt easier. I said though looking back that maybe I kept the hair longer than I should have. That remains to be seen. In any case, I've also delved deeper into the 3 things that I could have done: long hair, makeup, and skimpy clothing. I think long hair meant something more to me because it is actually a part of your body. So in the sense, it is natural that way. Or maybe it's just one of those things where that's the way you felt like doing it, so you did it. I tend to be such an analytical engineer that sometimes I want logical reasons for all the things that I've done, but sometimes maybe I should just suffice to say that that's what I fucking wanted, so that's what I did. I learned a lot. I'm still trying to unravel the lessons. Partly those lessons will express themselves in my upcoming ASMR series. I really would have liked to have released it this summer, but this year I just felt like flowing more so than normal, and the flow led me to be a lazy Netflix couch potato. By Netflix, I mean Amazon Prime couch potato. That's worked out just fine. I judge myself too much, even though I try to temper it. Because I have these ideas of productivity that I try to achieve, and then I realize, do I really need to be doing this? I control the narrative of what I want to do, so I should just be relaxed about it because I'm in the fortunate position to be able to do that. I think that's about it for today. I'll delve a little more into what the hair has meant, but suffice to say, I'm a very extreme person. When I want to do something here, I'll do it here. When I want to do the complete opposite, I'll do that. And the switchover is immediate. I kept the hair long for as long as I felt attached to a certain way of life, and now I think I'm over it. I would still say if I do experience anything sexual in the future, it will definitely be in the kink realm, but I'm less actively searching that. Whereas before I had been searching it probably extensively in 2018, but starting in 2016. Now I'm just over it. I'll deep dive into why I'm over it now or later. I'm always thinking about why. As you may recall, all these vlogs are off the cuff, so I really just allow myself to flow however I feel. Sometimes I start recording having a rough idea, thinking that I'm going to address something, and then as I speak, I realize I want to stop, or I want to talk about something else. I'm going to take a rough stab at it because the explanation is rising in me. I honestly think heteronormative sex and even kink is more trouble than it's worth over the long term. I experimented with kink, and I'm still into kink because of the adventurous element, but I think because I am child-free and anti-natalist, all of the traditional norms when it comes to sex, marriage, all of that surrounding stuff, it all falls apart, at least to me, when I analyze it logically. if sex is something you care about at all, you invest a lot of time in both that and all of the peripheral activities surrounding it. And almost everything can be guided back to that central tenet. Why do we spend time to look good? Why do we spend time to attain power? All of these dynamics, in many cases, can lead back to the fact that we want to procreate. That increases our capability to do so. But if you don't want kids and you don't want to fuck, then all the other stuff also makes less sense. Okay? I don't need to look good or have fancy anything to be appealing to anybody. So that means that everything I do is strictly for my own sake and my own internal journey. That's basically it. I am like a Larry David in Curb Your Enthusiasm, but except in real life. What would it be like if a person didn't have to play by society's rules, which are largely dictated towards procreating and everything surrounding that? I know that sounds like a very simplistic explanation, but I think keep it simple, stupid really works in this scenario. I'm trying to learn a lot more about biology and the history of evolution. I'd like to speak with authority on that, but that is the one science that I only have a high school level. I have a bachelor's in electrical engineering, which surprises many people. That means my physics and maths definitely at one point was top-notch. My chemistry was also at least a university understanding. But my biology has always lagged behind because I never studied it past high school. I'm now doing what I call intellectual dark web education, where I've listened to a number of evolutionary biologists, evolutionary psychologists, and how they interpret and explain evolution. I think that if you want to understand life from a fundamental level, that's the knowledge you need, and it will probably explain a lot about your own attitudes and behaviors and the attitudes and behaviors of those around you. That's why I am trying to work on a fundamental understanding of myself by going back to principles and back to basics, which is scientific basis. I know that I've jokingly said that I'm my own psychological case when it comes to my sexual or not sexual proclivities, but it is really the case. In some ways, this is like a fun master's thesis, because I'm just utilizing real-world evidence to, as best as I can do, understand myself. Now, of course, this is lacking peer review and all of those things that make scientific inquiry robust, but I'm trying my best to do what I can. I think in these cases, maybe one of these days, if there's an expert researcher who wants to partner with me, I'd be game to do that. But until then, I'll just free flow my ideas out, and you watch them. I collate so much different information just by allowing myself to free flow. and it's been, again, one of the best things I've ever done. The last thing I'll address is why have an audience for this. When you are, for example, explaining something like this, even if there's only me who rewatches it, the act of explaining something or saying something out in a way where you could, in theory, make it understandable to a third party reframes your own understanding of the processes as well. And to me, it's been one of the best ways to understand my journey and what I'm going through. You know, the funny thing is that on my YouTube channel, I always say X-rated existence and comedy, like only this version can do. I wish I was in the mood to be more comedic when I'm in these vlog mentalities, but I find it really hard to do that. I think my edginess comes out, but suffice to say, I'd probably be booed off a amateur open mic night. Okay. The phone has lasted a lot longer than I anticipated, I think. Okay. I'm Asian, so I like the number 18. We'll go for another minute and a half. I've been playing Ring Around the Phone Rosie, so I'm happy that nothing has interfered with my thoughts thus far. This would actually be a good weekend to finish my ocean dives. I'm hoping I'm able to do it because having the license would be useful. Then you can just dive if the opportunity comes up. If I delay to next year, then in the intervening time, I'll have to be cautious about my dive experiences. In any case, this is called spontaneity. I'll allow whatever happens to happen, and that'll be that. So this is a up close of my, what I'll call no fuck haircut. That's something someone else coined, which is a haircut that you sport when you don't want to fuck.